So welcome to Cheltenham Racecourse. As you can hear and see, the home of National Hunt Racing, resplendent in beautiful sunlight. You might hear a little bit of a noise because at the moment they're getting ready for the October showcase meeting, which isn't far now, but we're here today specifically because we're sponsoring Unibet, sponsoring the British Open Snooker Championships, and I'm joined by Nico de Boinville, our Unibet ambassador. Nico, 12 months ago you were here breaking reds with Unibet ambassador Mark Allen, the snooker player. 5 months ago, you were breaking ribs at Plumpton Racecourse. You've been off the course ever since. How are you? How's the rehabilitation going?
Feeling really good. Yeah, delighted to be back here. It's great that Unibet are sponsoring the British Open again. So, there's a good turnout here. So, yeah, good to be back. And I'm delighted to be back and raring to go, really.
Well, we're very much looking forward to the start of the jump season. There's been a superstar, a racing legend who's been on the sidelines for a few months. But more about Sir Gino in a moment, Nico. We'll talk about Nico to begin with. What do you remember about that fall 5 months ago? Because it seemed a little bit, for me, innocuous. You've taken a few falls like that before, but it wasn't so. That you broke ribs and you had obviously a big neck problem as well.
Yeah, I broke my neck and compressed a couple in my back as well. So I knew straight away that it wasn't all quite right. So straight to A&E, and they went through there very quickly. Sam Twiston Davis came and stayed down with me and brought me home, and then it was sit on your back and not do an awful lot for the first month.
And I suppose when that happens, it's racing is one thing, but your life is another, and it must have been difficult for you to watch the racing, but at the same time not to do much, because you had to be in this brace for at least a month doing nothing at all. What are you like as a patient?
Well, probably not very good. I mean, you're going from, living the life of a jockey, being flat out here, there and everywhere, and then you're not doing nothing. But Punchestown was on, I watched a bit of that and a bit of Sandown, and luckily I only missed sort of 2 weeks of really good racing. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're delighted that you're able to get back and get back walking, and there are a lot of jockeys out there who are worse off than you, so you've always got to be grateful for something.
And you're now fit, raring to go. What's the process? You have to obviously get everything ready, going, everything's got to heal. Then you've got to go to your consultant, and then finally you've got to get someone to say that you can ride again, I'd imagine.
Exactly. They're very stringent, and with Dr. Jerry Hill and all the sort of consultants that he uses, and Oaksey House as well. They're very strict on what, all sorts of hoops you have to jump through before you're given the green light again. So it was just a case of, I had lots of X-rays, lots of MRIs, CTs, the whole works, because they don't muck about with those kind of things. So it's just a case of getting all through all those, and then I got the all clear sort of end of July, and then it was straight to the gym, and then Oaksey House got to work on me, and that was probably the most torture. The first week, getting your body back into shape after, doing nothing for so long, your body literally turns into complete mush. So it's not the nicest thing in the world, but there's a means to an end.
And then you've got to get back on the horse. You've done that. You've been at Nicky's Seven Barrows several times now. Well, more than several times. You've been there for a month and a half, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. Luckily I've got loads at home as well going on. So I've been able to do a bit there and just get my eye back in and just get back to feeling comfortable on a horse and enjoying it again.
Well, there's plenty of racing to come. We're going to touch on some of the superstars that Nico is going to ride. Obviously, Cheltenham is a place you know very well. 50 Grade 1 winners cemented here last year before the injury. 17 Cheltenham Festival winners as well. It's a great place to have this interview with the backdrop of the hill and of the fences and the course. But let's talk about a few of those Cheltenham Festival horses that we've seen before that you'll obviously be looking forward to getting on again. Let's start with, I think, Jonbon, who's been a magnificent servant for you and Nicky.
He's been fantastic for all of us, and he's really proved his owner, JP McManus, and his team, that they were right to go and spend the money when they did. And, he's been a terrific servant for everyone, and he's surpassed everything, we could ever have sort of imagined that he would. And I have to say, and he's come back. I mean, I know everyone says all these horses come back looking bigger and better and stronger, but I mean, he really does look an absolute picture.
And I know there's lots of people that make the decision, and you're the jockey. You'll have an input into that, definitely. But, JP and the team and Nicky and the team, and you're part of those teams. Would you know which direction he's going to go? Because people have been talking about 2.5, 3 miles, King George's. What do you think?
I think at the moment we're fairly sort of set in stone that we're going to set off as we always do in the Schloer and then go from there and, you know, hopefully take in at Tingle Creek, and then you have the option to step up if you need. I mean, at Aintree he got 2.5, you know, going a really strong solid gallop, and he was pushed all the way, and, you know, he seemed to stay well that day. So, you know, he's just a fantastic steeplechaser, and you know, those 2 mile races you have to stay as well. So we'll see. Let's just go. We'll be fairly flexible and just go where the season takes us.
Okay, another horse we've got to speak about is Constitution Hill, former winner of the Unibet Champion Hurdle. Didn't go exactly according to plan this year. I was interested to see how many falls you actually had last year. You only had 4 falls, and 2 of them were on Constitution Hill.
Right.
And it's quite a difficult thing to look at because he seemed to be just ready to jump, and then he missed the hurdle both times. Is that a fair assumption? Or what from a jockey's point of view, what happens?
I guess when you're in those top 2 mile championship races, it all happens very, very quickly. And both times I couldn't really believe that I was rolling around on the ground. So it is what it is. And hopefully we can iron out all those sort of problems. And I think the trick is not to overthink it and just kick on. And we're heading to the Fighting Fifth, and it's a well-known route. And we didn't get there last year. But he seems to be a bit more forward this year. So fingers crossed.
He's got plenty of more racing ahead of him, and we really look forward to seeing Constitution Hill and Nico de Boinville back in action. A few other horses we should really touch upon. We should touch upon your Cheltenham Festival winner from last year, Django Bay, who won an amazing race, coming from a seemingly impossible position to grab victory from the jaws of defeat. That was only the second time he'd run over 2 miles, only the first time over fences. I believe you're never going to go 2 miles again. It's going to be 2.5, even 3.
Yeah, I mean, the way he won that race was pretty remarkable. You know, I didn't ever think that he was going to be able to do that, sort of, even when I was halfway around the course. So he was great, and then he went to over 2.5 at Aintree, and, you know, in hindsight, you probably would have gone 3 miles. So I think he's going to be a real nice stayer this year, and now he's back up into open company. So it's going to be tough there, but I think he's a lovely horse who jumps well, and I think he's a true out-and-out stayer.
Okay. Every time I come to another horse, I think I should have started with that horse. I'm now going to talk about Gino, who everyone is talking about as the next coming, really. Unbeaten. He's obviously won his novice last year, which makes it a little bit difficult. I mean, he has to go into open company. But, I mean, there was questions whether he would be going hurdling like he did with the Fighting Fifth or carry on a chasing route. But I think his chasing is going to go down. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, we very much sort of... And Joe and Mari Donnelly have given us a very much sort of blank canvas with him, and we'll definitely be dictated as to where he is at in his training regime, and he will tell us when he's ready to go. And so there are no sort of set targets right now.
But he's come back bouncing and ready, because there was a real worry that we'd never see him on the racecourse again.
And he was lucky to survive the issue that he did have. But he's come back, and you wouldn't be able even to tell, you know, there was any problem. And he does look great, and, you know, so I think he's just beginning cantering now. So again, he'll dictate where we go and at what time. So,
and I think what I've heard from Nicky and Seven Barrows is they're probably going to wait until after Christmas, because that'll be the time he needs to come to himself.
Yeah,
that's what I've read anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly no pressure. So we'll get there when we get there.
Okay, there's another horse who's in a similar type of ilk to Gino, for many reasons, LULAMBA, who, again, looks a horse full of potential. You just got beat here in the Triumph Hurdle on him. But he's also a horse that's already been talked about as a chaser. What do you make of him? Where's he going to go this year?
He's a lovely horse. I've always thought of him as more of, you know, he might be one in the future who steps up in trip a bit quicker than all the others have done. He's come back, and he's really filled out. He's definitely grown a whole load, but it is very tricky for these second season juveniles, you know, coming off the back of that year. But I think he looks great, and as I said, he's grown as well. So I'm sure he'll jump a fence. So we shall see. We're yet to jump one at home, but again, there are a few options here and there, and we'll just have to have a sit down and see what happens.
Great to have all these options. You've got so many good horses. No wonder Nico wanted to get back into the saddle as soon as possible. Some great options this year. And one other horse I wanted to mention, because he ran well in certain races, and he's probably going to get better as a chaser. It's Lucky Place. He progressed from handicapped into graded company, but you're telling me that the chasing is very much the plan.
Well, very much. I mean, last year, at the start of last year, he was actually schooled up to go novice chasing, and then we actually looked at his age and realised how young he was, and he's still a young horse now, so he'll be one that will start off, as I said, he was all schooled up, so we'll school him again and then he'll be ready to go, really. He's such a laid-back horse. He's really a pleasure to deal with and a real sort of stable favourite. So I imagine we'll start off, find a nice 2.5, novice chase, beginner's chase, and we'll go from there.
So plenty of horses to look forward to. It's great to see Nico here at the home of National Hunt Racing, raring to get going for this season. Thank you for coming here, Nico, on what is our snooker championship sponsorship at Cheltenham Racecourse this week. And when Nicky's got a runner, you'll be riding it.
I hope so. At the moment, we're still at the back end of the summer, and it feels like a summer's day here today. I think the course looks great, the grass looks amazing, and the only blot is that we're having to listen to the steam cleaner over there. But no, thank you very much for having me, Ed.
Nico, great to see you. Looking brilliant. Well done.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ed. Thank you.